Wasabi wallet. Unfairly private.
The OpenDime is a USB device that allows you to take Bitcoin off-chain and make it physical. It also allows you to transact peer-to-peer in person, physically between two parties, without making on-chain transactions in a trustless manner. So today we're going to take a look at number one, how is that possible? And number two, how do you actually use the OpenDime? I am Ben with the BTC Sessions, and this is your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.
Before we dive in, of course, shout out to sponsors of the show, Shakepay.com. If you are buying Bitcoin in Canada, this is honestly the easiest and best way to do it. I use it all the time. You can fund your account very, very easily with e-transfers. There is no deposit fee, no withdrawal fee, and the spreads are some of the thinnest in Canada. So you're basically getting the best rates across the country. On top of that, they've got a killer referral program. Speaking of which, if you click the link in the show notes and you buy your first $100 worth, you will get $10 for free. And the same is true of anybody that you refer. And once you do refer a friend, you actually get the luxury of being able to shake your phone every morning and get free sats. It's called shaking for sats, and the longer your streak is, the more sats per day you get. So it's pretty badass. I highly encourage you check them out. I have a full tutorial, and you can find that on my channel. Up next, we got LEDN.io. You can use your Bitcoin for a variety of different services here. Namely, if you're in a pinch and you need to get your hands on dollars, but you don't want to sell your Bitcoin because, of course, that is a taxable event, and maybe you're worried about having to buy back in at a higher price, well, you could use their Bitcoin-backed loans very easily. You simply deposit Bitcoin. You can get dollars to your bank account within 24 hours. And when you pay back those dollars, you get back the same amount of Bitcoin, which is the important number. Of course, they also have their savings accounts for Bitcoin and USDC. If you want to check those out, you can get $10 for free. Click in the link. And they also have their B2X offering if you're feeling mega bullish. Be sure to check them out. I do live on Bitcoin. BitRefill helps a ton with this. They have just every gift card you can imagine in a ton of different countries, and you can pay for them with Bitcoin, either on-chain or Lightning Network, as I always use. They've also gotten a killer sats back program, meaning you earn sats back as you shop, and the referral program can also help you with all your shopping needs. So check them out. Keystone, you guys know these guys. One of my favorite and most used hardware wallets. It is 100% air-gapped via QR code, meaning that you never plug the thing into anything internet connected. It's all done offline via QR code, and that keeps the keys to your money, safe and away from potentially devious internet connections. They do have Bitcoin only firmware, which I highly recommend you upgrade to, and they work with all the greats like Blue Wallet and Wasabi and Spectre and Sparrow. They're also pretty badass in a multi-sig setup, especially alongside something like the Coldcard. And finally, if you're backing up any important Bitcoin wallet, I highly recommend you not do it on paper. There's been horror stories, whether it be fire damage, water damage, accidentally misplacing a slip of paper. If it's in a solid hunk of steel, like with the bill file over at privacypros.io, it gives you that peace of mind. This is how I back up all of my important wallets, so be sure to check them out. And with that, let's dive into the show. Now, I actually did a video on the OpenDime a few years back, and I believe that in my video covering it, I didn't exactly do justice to how it works and why it's better than other ways of physically handing people Bitcoin. For instance, you could, yes, put Bitcoin on a hardware wallet and then give said hardware wallet to an individual. That is a possible thing. You could make a paper wallet and load it up with Bitcoin and hand it physically to somebody, and they would then have that Bitcoin. However, that is not the best way to do it if you don't trust the person giving you the Bitcoin. You as the receiver, if you don't trust the person handing you said Bitcoin. Why? Well, if that person has already created and loaded up a hardware wallet or a paper wallet with funds, that means at one point they had access to the private keys. And in the time that it takes you to get the physical medium with holding your Bitcoin and get home and sweep it off, you could feasibly have the other person just sweep the funds into their own wallet long after you're gone. So you don't have those assurances that the person cannot retroactively retain the funds back to their own ownership. This is not the case with the OpenDime. It prevents that from happening so that the physical transaction of handing somebody an OpenDime is like handing somebody cash, in that they now have irrefutable ownership of said Bitcoin. And the only way you can get it back in that transaction is if they send it back to you, if they choose to give it back. So the OpenDime itself, I'll just show you, looks like this. It's just a little USB drive. If I turn it around, you can see it just plunks in, and it's pretty thin. It's flat like that. And you can load this device up with Bitcoin, and you can hand it to somebody, and then that is the transaction. A transaction takes place to load this, but any transaction of this moving from person to person after that is obviously off chain. You can't track those transactions. You can always verify the balance on this, and you can always verify that nobody has been able to hint or take a peek at the private keys, meaning nobody is able to sweep this device. All right. And so this is the guarantee that you have with an OpenDime, is that the physical transfer of this device is the physical transfer of the Bitcoin that have been loaded up on this device. Once the private keys are accessed and compromised, anybody looking at this device will know, and will know not to trust the person handing it to them. So this is kind of the unique case of this. Again, it makes Bitcoin physical, and it guarantees that somebody giving you this device cannot go back and steal the funds after the fact, even if they remain on said device. So we're going to take a look at exactly how to use it. And for me, just, you know, off the top of my head, the best use case for this would be perhaps gifts. You know, if you're giving somebody a gift of Bitcoin, you can load it up with a specific number of sats and say, hey, there's Bitcoin on this, don't lose it. And, you know, it's on here, and you can keep it safe and then transfer it to your own wallet afterwards. Or again, in the instance where you actually want to transact with somebody and you want to make sure that there's a physical exchange of goods, you can hand them an OpenDime with Bitcoin on it, and this is already confirmed, and they can audit the amount on it. And there's no transaction that has to take place on the blockchain. That transfer is now brought into the physical world. So whatever use cases there may be there, it's still a very interesting concept. It makes Bitcoin a bearer asset in the physical world. So let's take a look. Let's see how this thing works. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to take my OpenDime, and I'm just going to plug it into a USB port on my computer, and that will show up as a drive on my desktop. Now I'm using two screens here, so I'm just going to drag over that drive so you guys can see it. So once you see the drive pop up on your computer, you can open it up, and it's going to be a little bit different. I'm on a Mac. If you're on a Windows machine, then again, you just use your file explorer and look for OpenDime. And this index.htm will basically give you all the information you need of how to operate the OpenDime, but we'll just go through it once. It talks about you agree to the terms of sale and use. It says open your file explorer and look for OpenDime drive on your Mac, or again, whatever you're using. Copy files to the OpenDime until at least 256 kilobytes have been saved. Once that total is reached, you will see the light blinking quickly, and the device will eject by itself. Ignore the system warning, reload this page, and you will see your new Bitcoin address. If you end up here again, just add more files to this drive. Okay, great. So I'm just going to pull this a little bit off to the side. Now I've got some screenshots here of different tweets and stuff that I'm using for other videos. So I'm just going to drag an image that I have over here and let it load up. There we go. And that apparently was enough information for it to derive a private key. So what is it doing here? Effectively, what it has done is it's taken little bits of information from that file and use that information to generate a private key. So it's best to use files that are of your own creation, whether it be a photo or some sort of a screenshot or something. If it's too large and it's larger than the entire drive, you'll get an error and it just will reject it. So it needs to be a bit of a smaller file. I've played around in the past and yeah, just tiny portions of screenshots or an image file should be just fine. So I can see, it said ignore the system error. I hit OK. And I can actually now, I believe, hit refresh here. And there we go. This is now my OpenDime. Okay, so I can basically send as much Bitcoin to this address as I please. I can top it up as many times as I want, and this will be stored on the OpenDime. You'll notice that I have no access to spend at the time of this. So let's just take a look again. What's on our screen here? We've got a scannable QR code. I can send to that. We've got this Bitcoin address. I can copy and paste it and send it wherever and load it up from wherever. It doesn't matter. I can check the balance of this. So if I hit check balance, it will tell me nothing yet, nothing on it. Okay, fair enough. And this is just checking through the OpenDime website. You can also check this on any block explorer. So it says, here's third-party links. You can check it through Blockstream. Yep, look, no Bitcoin sitting on it yet. Of course, I haven't sent anything there yet. Okay, if I go back, let's see what verify does. Verified, your OpenDime does not have control over the secret private key corresponding to Bitcoin payment address. Okay, so it just verifies that through the OpenDime website. Again, it verifies that it hasn't been compromised, and we'll show you what that looks like momentarily. Again, public block explorers, you can check the balance through a whole bunch of different possible websites. Yeah, you can verify the OpenDime signature, but that's pretty much that. So let's go ahead and let's send some Bitcoin. Let's load up our OpenDime. We're going to see how to do that next. As I was saying, all you need is either the QR code or the address down below to load up your OpenDime and some Bitcoin on an outside wallet. So I have Blockstream Green wallet here on my desktop, and I'm going to use this to send some Bitcoin to the OpenDime. So I'm just going to copy this address on my OpenDime. I'm going to head over to Blockstream Green, and I'm just going to hit send, and I will send to that address, and I'll just double check it looks the same. Looks good to me. All right, and then I'm just going to designate how much. Let's do 10. We'll do 100,000 sats. So that's about $60. Okay, and then I'm going to do a little bit of a faster transaction. Actually, I'll do it custom. I'll just put it up a little bit. Do 8 sats per byte. I know some of you are cringing. That's a high. I always end up setting it a little low, and then I'm waiting around longer than I need to for doing a tutorial. So cut me some slack. Anyways, so I set my fee. Everything looks good. I'm going to say yes, that looks good. I'll hit send. I'll get my code from Blockstream Green. All right, transaction sent, and off that goes. And I can hit check balance, and I can see that there's an unconfirmed transaction coming in for 100,000 sats. It will reflect it when it is fully confirmed as well, but that's it. That's it. And you can do this as many times as you like to load up your balance. All right. So we'll check back when this is confirmed, and we'll see how the hell do you get money off of an OpenDime. While we're waiting for that transaction to confirm, I just want to show you what it now looks like now that the OpenDime has actually been initialized, as to what this drive actually looks like, because it has changed since we set it up. So when I open this up, you can now see that there is my Bitcoin address as a file. There is a QR code to the same address as a file. there is the private key, but take a look. When I open that up, it says it's sealed. And then that lets us know that it's not compromised. And the index is here. Again, this is the file that we're looking at in the Explorer, and it shows our address, check balance. It has all those handy buttons to verify everything. And then there's the README text of, you know, how do I use this just in case you forget, okay? There is some advanced stuff here, checksum, stuff that I won't be diving into for this video, and some support stuff that's in here as well that you can check out. Things like terms and conditions, license, all that stuff. So this is what it will now look like every time you plug in this device until you unseal it and you actually move to sweep the funds off. I should also say that the OpenDime will always be flashing green when initialized, but once you quote unquote unseal it, you will get a red flashing light. So that will let you know that it's not safe to use if somebody's trying to pay you using an OpenDime. Okay, so we will jump back in once that transaction is confirmed. Let's actually take a look at the green light as well, just so you can see. Just really quick on my phone here, this is the OpenDime plugged in, and you can see that green flashing light letting us know it is safe to use. It has not yet been compromised. All right, so that's what it's going to look like when it's just been initialized, and every time you use it up until it is unsealed. Now, there's another really cool feature of the OpenDime that I want to show you. If you have the BlockClock, which also made by the same company, the same guys that make Coldcard, the same guys that make OpenDime, make the BlockClock, and this will, again, show you real-time price points of Bitcoin. It'll show you the sats per dollar. It'll show you the block, what block we're on, so on and so forth, basically whatever you want. But there is a USB in the side of it, and you can actually use your OpenDime with it. Now, this one here is one that we haven't used at all. We haven't even initialized it. And so when you plug it in, it flashes green to say that it's good. It says that it's new. It says it's factory fresh. It has not yet been used, okay? So this means that it has yet to be initialized. Great, so we know that's working just fine. I can pull that one out. Now let's see the difference when we use the one that we just set up. Okay, so we'll plug that in. Great, we get the green, that means it's safe again. It says it's sealed, it's telling us to wait. Great, and it shows our QR code, meaning that we can use it, this screen right here, to send more Bitcoin to it. But also, in the top right-hand corner of the BlockClock, it says get balance. There's a little button here that I can press on the side. And now it's going to scan the blockchain. It's going to check this address to see, there we go, 100,000 sats worth about $60 US is sitting on this OpenDime, which is sealed. How cool is that? So this next part is going to require a little bit of manual labor here. We've got ourselves a tack, or like a push pin. All right. And grab that OpenDime out. Okay, so on the OpenDime, there's a little arrow pointing to a little hole, and what you need to do is you actually need to shove a pin through that, and what that does is it's going to break a circuit on the opposite side, which will then show this device as being compromised, and it will unlock the private key, allowing you to sweep the wallet. Okay, so I'm just going to line this up here. Gonna put the pin here. There we go. And you're just gonna push. I know this seems scary, but so you can see here, once that pin goes through, it actually breaks one of the circuits back there. And well, there it goes all the way through. But basically it has broken a circuit. Let me see if I can get a better look at this. So just in there, this little piece used to be connected across. It is no longer. That means it should have been quote unquote unsealed. And now when we plug it into the computer, we should see the option to sweep the funds. We'll just start by plugging in this OpenDime. Ooh, Do we get the green or the red? What are we going to get? Oh, I see the flashing red. That means danger. It means it's been unsealed. It's compromised. Okay, and on our desktop here, we should now see an actual private key. All right. And if we open up the index, we now see unsealed. Do not send more funds to this address or accept this hardware as payment. Perfect. Okay, so that now means we see the private key and we can see spend funds, all right, and send to any address. All right, so what this allows us to do now is this allows us to sweep the funds into whatever wallet we choose. Very, very simply. So you can do this to a wallet on your phone, to a wallet on your desktop. And so we're going to try just that now. Now, the easiest way I have found to access the funds from my OpenDime is just simply using Blue Wallet and creating a new wallet. So the way you do this is in the top right-hand corner, assuming you're already using Blue Wallet. If not, there'll be a thing in the middle that says Add New Wallet. But the little plus button in the top right, by the way, I should say I do have a full tutorial on Blue Wallet. If you want to go back, that'll be down in the show notes for you. Okay, hit the plus button in the top right. And instead of selecting any of the options here, you're just going to go down and hit Import Wallet. And down at the bottom, it says Scan or Import a File. That will open up your camera, and then you're just going to scan the QR code on the screen. All right, it recognizes it very quickly. It now says your wallet has been successfully imported. If I hit OK, there it is. I go into it. I have full access. Now, I should say, if I do hit receive here, I can, of course, add money to this wallet. I would probably not advise you to do this. OpenDime is meant to be kind of like a use it until it's been unsealed, and then just assume that it's compromised from that point forward, and just sweep the funds elsewhere. Okay, so the best thing to do is to use the send function and to send it out to another Bitcoin wallet. So we'll do that right now. Just within Blue Wallet, I have another wallet that I'd like to sweep them into. I go in here, I'm going to hit receive, and I'm going to copy this address, and then we'll navigate back to our other wallet. We'll go into this imported wallet, we'll hit send, we will paste in the address we want to send to, we will use full balance, and then we will set our fee. We'll hit next. All right, you're sending this much to this address. That's your fee. Looks good. Send now. Off it goes. Our balance will now update. Oh, and I can see it coming into the other wallet right now. So our balance is now updated. We see the money going out, and we jump back to the other wallet. I can now see a pending incoming transaction for just about 99,000 sats because, of course, there is a transaction fee associated with sending any Bitcoin transaction. But we were effectively, again, able to have funds secured on a physical device until we chose to compromise it and access the private key. We're able to import the exact same wallet that was on the OpenDime into an internet-connected wallet here, and then send out into another wallet that we control. Just for good measure, let's see what this looks like on the BlockClock now. All right, we get the warning of unsealed. Wait, there's the address still, but I can still get the balance as per usual. And this should now show that we've removed the balance, that there's nothing in it anymore. 0. Yep, there we go. And that's that. Just for a quick recap, again, we plug the device in, we drag in some files. hopefully some that are personal to you that you have some hand in creating, whether it be screenshots or images or photos that you've taken or documents that you've created. You drag them into the drive. That creates a private key for you and a receiving address. The private key is not visible or accessible at all initially on the OpenDime, but you can load it up with funds as frequently as you want until you are ready to transact with it, to give it to somebody in exchange for goods or services, or to gift it to somebody, whatever you may choose. Once they receive it, they know that you have no access to the private key. You can check the balance at any point. You can check that it is unsealed and uncompromised. You can do that on both a computer, or if you have a BlockClock, you can also do that to check. When the person wants to remove said funds from the OpenDime, they need to use a push pin to push through the designated hole, which will break a circuit and give access to the private keys. You will then be able to see those on your desktop computer when you plug it in. To get rid, or not get rid of, but to spend the funds, to move them off of the OpenDime once it has been unsealed, Blue Wallet is a super easy solution. You add a new wallet, you hit scan or import file, and then that will import the exact wallet that is sitting on the OpenDime, at which point it's probably a good idea to send those funds to a different Bitcoin wallet that you have. And as for this bad boy, this guy goes in the trash now. This is a single-use device. You do not reuse these. That is unsafe. It is meant to be used as seen here, until which time it is unsealed. So this guy is all done. Farewell, sweet prince. I really love the OpenDime. I think it's such a cool product. I haven't really seen anything like this replicated by anybody, which I'm surprised, because it's a very unique use case. I really like the idea of this for gifting as well. You know, Christmas time, if you're orange pilling some family members, just make sure they're not going to like toss this out or misplace it or anything. Hopefully they'll be curious enough to check up on it. But yeah, I really like this idea. I think it's a lot of fun, and I have a fair amount of OpenDimes kicking around at my place, and I really like that you can just plug it into the side of a BlockClock and get the balance. I think that's super awesome. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about the OpenDime, and also let me know if I did a better job explaining it this time around. It's been a few years since I touched on this thing, and hey, maybe for holiday season, birthdays, stuff like that, it may be useful to some of you in orange pilling your family members, perhaps. Yeah, that's about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you're here on YouTube, please do hit like, subscribe, and share. All of those things really, really do help so much. And I thank all of you that have been doing it. I've really, really noticed. So thank you guys. If you want to help with the show in another way, you can hit up the previously mentioned sponsors down below. Shakepay, LEDN, BitRefill, Keystone, Billfodl, all those things are down there. Also, if you want to pick up some OpenDimes, if you're looking for a BlockClock, if you're looking for a Coldcard, any of that stuff, given the video that you just watched, there's a link for that down below. And if you do use that link, it does help the show as well, but don't feel obligated if you choose not to. And finally, if you really liked what you saw, you can always drop me a Bitcoin tip at my Strike page, which is strike.me/BTC sessions. When you get there, you type in any amount you like, you hit the tip button, you'll be greeted with a Lightning invoice, or if you click to the right, a regular Bitcoin QR code. With that, I am out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening, wherever you may be. I'll see you guys next time for your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.